Well, here's a story that Western politicians don't get involved in. Um, Armenia is a small Christian country in the South Caucasus, and it has neighbours Azerbaijan, Turkey and Iran. And of those countries, Iran is the most reasonable and most sympathetic towards the Armenians. Armenia is a tiny country who historically used to be much bigger and is now pretty much and doesn't get any support from Western countries at all. Azerbaijan has oil and has an anti-Iranian government which suits Western powers, and therefore the West, just like the West supported Turkey's invasion of Cyprus, supports Azerbaijan vis-a-vis Armenia. And this is just one of many examples of wars and conflicts around the world that we don't get involved in because there isn't anything in it for us except maybe just to do the right thing. Azerbaijan doesn't need this area. It's a very rich country. It has lots of oil and it's much bigger than Armenia. It doesn't really make any sense for Azerbaijan to try. But what's going to happen, of course, to these Armenians is they're going to be kicked out, forced to leave their ancestral home and probably end up moving to the West or something like that. We'll have a new round of immigrants. On this occasion, genuine refugees, and probably people who will be reasonably good immigrants, but they really should be staying in their own country. And the Armenian claim to Nagorno-Karabakh is much better. I mean, we created Kosovo, right, using the same explanation as to why we're not supporting Nagorno-Karabakh. And the Armenian government is very weak and has basically capitulated. Russia, which has historical support for Armenia, isn't really in a position to do much about it because it's deeply involved in the Ukrainian issue, where we are once again involved, having a proxy war with Russia. But so many examples of wars that, in my opinion, you know, I don't want us to get involved in Ukraine, and I don't think Ukraine is a good guy, especially not under the Zelensky regime. But there are many other conflicts which are much more, in my view, morally justified, for example, but we don't get involved in them. Probably quite rightly. I feel incredibly sorry for Armenia. Their geography is absolutely diabolical. You know, I mean, it really is awful where they're located. If they could be, you know, if they could just do a swap with Kosovo or something, it might, you know, it would be better for everyone. But that's just not the way geography works. There's another horrible conflict going on in northeast India, in Manipur, where the people are at each other's throats. But again, we don't have interventions because of this. Unfortunately, wars and conflicts are part of human nature, and they can be manipulated by the powers that be. The powers that be see opportunity in war, and lots of companies make big money from supplying weapons. The United States being one of the worst examples of a country that profits from conflict and death. And I wish I knew what to say, and I don't know what to do because I can't see any hope for Nagorno-Karabakh. It's got a tiny population, it's landlocked, it doesn't have any friendly neighbours, except to a certain extent Iran, and it doesn't stand a chance against Azerbaijan. And the government is corrupt just like ours is. And it's just a shame the Armenian people didn't get the support that we wrongly give to Ukraine.